Welcome back to the Big Grant Show. As always, thank you for joining me. If you could, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get right to it. Now, this video is going to be about a new proposal from the Trump administration on food stamps. Now, as many of you know, there's been a lot of talk about food stamps over the years, trying to find ways to revamp the system. Well, Donald Trump has found a way, and he wants to replace half of a food stamp recipient's monthly allotment with a food box. He claims it'll save the government money. Critics say that it takes agency away from the worker or from the people that are on the program, taking away their ability to choose what they provide for themselves or their family to eat. You ask me, it's a terrible decision because they want to replace it with things like with canned goods and stuff, and which takes away fresh produce in a lot of respects. And for people that have health problems, fresh produce is better than canned goods because of the sodium content and stuff like that. As well as say you have allergies to different foods, and say the foods they send in that box, say you can't eat them. Say you're allergic to them and aren't able to eat them. Or you have health problems because you're disabled that require you to eat certain foods. Not only that, but it insinuates that they want that people on food stamps spend their money, their food stamp money, on other things, which is almost impossible these days with the advent of the electronic food stamp card. Here in Texas, we have the SNAP benefits card. You don't get stamps anymore. You don't get free money handed to you. It's on a card. I was on the program for 5 years. I think I know how the damn thing works. But that's the system. You get money on a card and you go and buy your groceries. What does this do? This sits there and puts it as if you're in some kind of you're some kind of criminal, that you can't be trusted to buy the proper foods that you want to buy. Now, if you want to put limits on different things, like you want to say on food stamps you can't buy soda, okay, I get that, because that has no nutritional benefit. Sweets and candies and things like that. All right, you can't buy sweets or candy with it. Buy that with your own money. Okay. But to sit there and basically kind of say that people on food stamps are criminals that are just going to go sell their food stamps for other money is ridiculous. I'm sure there are still people out there that will go and take $30 of food stamps and go buy some drugs with it. I'm sure those people exist, but they're a minority of the people on the program. Go after those people, not the hard-working people who have a family of 2 or 3 or 4 kids, plus themselves and their wife, that don't sit there and take food away from them or their ability to buy the foods that they see as healthy for them. Replacing it with a delivery style box that comes once a month. One, you can't have fresh produce that way because it's not going to be good for a month. So that means a lot of canned goods, a lot of sodium going into diets, a lot of sugar going into diets, increase in diabetes, increase in Medicaid spending, increase in Medicare spending, and increase of deaths to food-related problems. As an overweight man, I know the problems with extra sugar in your diet. That's the reason I'm sitting here drinking a Coke Zero Sugar right now. It has no sugar. Why? Because I love food so much that my weight has gotten a little bit out of control, and so my blood sugar's a bit out of whack. Yet here you go with the president that just wants to exacerbate the problem. We have an obesity epidemic in this country. We have a diabetes epidemic in this country. We have a health epidemic in this country in general. And here's a man trying to make it worse. Why is he making it worse? Because he's going to give you foods that are unhealthy, that are worse for you than the foods you would normally buy. Even though I was on food stamps, I tried my best to find no sugar added, no salt added options in canned goods if I could get them. They're not going to be sending you that stuff. They're going to be sending you basically government cheese. Although I love some cheese. They're going to be sending you stuff that's going to be higher in salt content than some people need to eat, higher in sugar content. It's going to make the problems worse. Not to mention, it makes it seem as if people receiving food stamps are guilty of some crime. They're guilty of their life not turning out exactly the way they wanted, or not being able to completely provide for themselves without a little assistance. Not only are you sitting there going to take, you're going to try to save a little bit of money for the government, but you're going to starve children at the same time. Children deserve to be able to eat regardless of how their parents work, how well their parents earn money. And so, if you ask me, this is a travesty. It's something completely and it's just unfathomable that you would do this to people. Take away their ability to choose what they can eat, by sending them something that they have to eat or else they starve. This is not going to work. Hopefully this plan never comes to fruition and it falls apart before it ever gets to Congress or anything like that. Because this plan is terrible. Because you're going to have people that have allergies that aren't going to be able to eat, so they're going to starve. You're going to have other people whose nutrition needs aren't going to be met because they're eating things that are, prefab, basically. Nothing can replace the ability of having fresh produce. Now, maybe if they add some fresh produce in there and they make sure that the vegetables, like the canned vegetables and stuff they send, are no salt added, and that they make sure that the items are low in sugar, then maybe it'll work out. But the way I'm reading it right now, that is not the case. That is not what Donald Trump is looking to do. And right now, I cannot support this particular idea. It's a terrible decision right now. And that's just on the user end. That's just on the people that need the food. But here's the bigger problem. You've got retailers out there that rely on people on food stamps to come in and buy food. Walmart, for example, where people I know happen to be employed. They have a lot of people that get their groceries at Walmart via the SNAP food benefit card here in Texas. And they actually bring in a huge chunk of money to Walmart and other big box retailers like say your big Targets and things like that. Not to mention your standard grocery stores. So what effect is it going to have on the overall economy? It's going to cost jobs because companies are going to lose money. And they're going to not be as profitable, which is going to cause companies to lose money. They're going to have to close stores, which will cost more jobs. It's a giant trickle-down pile of crap. If people want a box of food, there are churches that provide those. And it's a great thing that they do. Okay? But when you need food that you have, and you have dietary needs, this is evil. If you have certain specific needs and that box isn't meeting them, what do you eat? That's right. You starve. Because if you can't eat the food, you can't have any food. So if you ask me, this is absolutely repulsive. And it's another one of those things that Donald Trump is trying to do that I do not support. I cannot support it. Maybe if they make changes, I can find a way to support it. Let me know down in the comments what exactly you think about this particular option. I don't think it's a good idea, but maybe you have a different idea. Maybe you got different ideas on how we can fix it. Maybe there's a way that we can actually make this idea work. But it's going to be a really hard thing to do. Even if it was a perfect thing where they're going to be able to send out fresh produce and things like that in it, like say Blue Apron or Hello Fresh, how are you going to do that for 43 million Americans? I think maybe down to 42 million Americans now that happen to be on the SNAP program. Just a question. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. I'll see you down the road. I hope y'all are having some great weather wherever you are. It's a pretty bit cold down here in East Texas. By the way, Thursday afternoon, I have the first video going up on my oldest town vlog series over on GIMP with a camera. Description will be in the or link will be in the description below. Please give it a watch. Go subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you down the road.